Hey, I swear niggas are not human, bro. All right, so we get just straight to it now. So this is Streams. This is your host, Rick. If you're on YouTube watching this, please hit the like and subscribe and all that shit. I need the traction so I can keep building this channel, subs, and all that shit counts. Watch time, all that. Look, man, I've been on the internet. Just all y'all been on the internet, and I know every McDonald's thing. You know, it kind of went viral because the McDonald's CEO, Chris K, was doing a promo video for the Big Arch. It's a new burger or whatever for their for this season or this quarter or whatever, and they got him sitting at a desk eating the Big Arch and got a whole display going on where it's him, the burger, a thing of fries that is half full, and what looks to be like a Sprite or whatever. I don't know, but been going around about how weird and jarring it was in the way that he behaved in that video. And I don't necessarily have anything to add to that narrative. Everybody's told all the jokes. They talked to death already over the last week or two. News and social media only lasts for about a few days and shit. So before it's old news, unfortunately. But I wanted to give my, because it I always have a perspective that I think is a little unique from the noise on the internet. It's funny, and we're about to laugh at this shit together, but I have some other things that I want to add to the narrative as well, other ways that we should look at it. I'm not trying to be extra deep or nothing, but this is the way that I actually am, the way I do things. So I want to watch this real quick, just so we can get an idea of exactly what I'm talking about out there.
Chris K here with, you've heard about it, here it is, the Big Arch. This is something that we have tested already in Portugal, Germany, Canada. I love this product. It is so good. I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know. So here we go. First, holy cow. God, that is a big burger.
I don't know why my audio is doing
a very unique kind of sesame poppy sort of bun on it. We've got 2 quarter-pound patties, a delicious Big Arch sauce, and of course some lettuce. So, there's so much going on with this. First of all, let's try to get this thing, I don't even know how to attack it. Got so much to it. Oh, there's also some crispy onions on here as well. I see those kind of coming out. All right, the moment of truth.
Oh, Lord.
That is so good. That's a big bite for this product.
Oh,
it is so
shit.
good.
Hey, look. What's wrong with this nigga, man? Who is this nigga? Bro, where did he come from, bro? All right, let me go back. Let me start this over. If my audio is popping, you have to forgive me. I think my laptop is sort of like, I think my computer is struggling to keep up with everything that I got going on over here, but we rolling. I don't give a fuck. Look at this, bro.
Chris K here with, you've heard about it, here it is, the Big Arch. This is something that we have tested already in Portugal, Germany, Canada. I love this product. It is so good. I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know. So here we go.
I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I am definitely going to eat this for my lunch. Nigga, you are lying, bro. You're not going to eat this shit. What? I'm going to do a tasting right now.
First, holy cow. God, that is a big burger. We've got a very unique kind of sesame poppy sort of bun on it. We've got 2 quarter-pound patties, a delicious big arch sauce, and of course some lettuce. So, there's so much going on with this.
Oh, there's
First of all, let's try to get this thing. I don't even know how to attack.
Let's go back a little bit. I just want to pick up on all the awkwardness.
This for my lunch, just so you know. So here we go. First, holy cow. God, that is a big burger. We've got a very unique kind of sesame poppy sort of bun on it. We've got 2 quarter-pound patties, a delicious big arch.
Look, the nigga is talking about food like he's never seen it before. Like, why is he saying it like it's so out there and so unique? I don't understand. And then, like, I guess he's saying because there's sesame seeds and poppy seeds on the bun. Okay, cool. All right. But it's just the language that he's choosing to use through this whole video. You know, listen, bro.
Sauce, and of course some lettuce.
Look at this nigga, bro. He's such a strange guy. And before I even was reading comments and stuff on the internet, the first thing that popped out in my mind was that this nigga reminds me so much of Mark Zuckerberg. Like, it almost looks like this is his father. They're both so weird. They don't seem like people, bro. And like I said, you find somebody who's deep enough in them trenches with the conspiracy theories, they will say he is not human. Look, why is he so pale? Why is he so pale? What is wrong with him? And then he's talking, the nigga called a burger a product. Like, you know, there's several ways that you could look at that fact alone, but I think it's just these people are so disconnected from humanity because they don't look at people as numbers. I mean, as people, they look at them as numbers. They look at them as commodities. They're customers. He doesn't look at this like it's a burger. It's a product because that's all he knows. He's a billionaire who sits around. I'm just assuming because from what I read, the motherfucker makes $150 million a year doing this job, doing this shit, where he can barely come off as a human being. He's making $150 million. That's probably more than me and everybody else in this whole 1 mile radius makes put together and then some more. You know what I'm saying? And this motherfucker can barely do a good job at coming off as a human being, bro. And I want to emphasize that this is what I mean by my perception or my perspective is a little unique from what I've been seeing people talk about on the internet. It's usually just jokes, right? But this is funny, but at the same time, it's like, I want to point out the disparity between us down here on the grassroots level, people that deal with other people every day, and we have coworkers, and we have friends, and we have sex lives, and we have, social lives. We go to bars and clubs. And then you have the opposite of that, where this motherfucker here is probably flying private every time he flies, which means he's not coming in contact with all of the people that he normally would during a commute. There's no people in the airport that he got to deal with. This nigga doesn't work a regular job. I'm sure he has a big corner office in some headquarters somewhere, probably in New York or California, where you don't talk to him directly. You got to talk to his underboss. You got to talk to the VP. You got to talk to the whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody talks to him unless, that's what I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't work there. But I'm saying that's usually how these types sort of insulate themselves. Like they're trying to hello, my fellow classmates, my fellow high schoolers. Like he's trying to pretend to be a person. It's like they're crawling in their skin trying to figure out how to interact with us without, coming off weird. They have really antiquated views and perspectives in life. They're usually racist or very, very particular in their political stances. It's nothing nuanced about the way that they view the world because they're in a bubble and all they know is what they know. And it's constantly reinforced by the echo chamber that they live in, right? So then you get this motherfucker on the camera where he's trying to be, oh, I'm going to seem down and hip. Like, I feel like the only thing that could have made this funnier is if he wore a backwards hat and was sitting in his chair backwards. Like, all right, what do we got here? And he rolls up his sleeves and put on a backwards hat. And he's like, yeah, I mess with this Sprite. You know, I drink Sprite all the time. That's what he's doing. It's like he's appropriating being a human. Man, let me just finish this video, bro.
So, there's so much going on with this. First of all, let's try to get this thing. I don't even know how to attack it. Got so much to it. Oh, there's also some crispy onions on here as well. I see those kind of coming out. All right, the moment of truth. That is so good. That's a big bite for a big arch.
Nigga.
It's distinctively McDonald's. Only McDonald's could do this type of burger, but it also is unlike any.
Yeah, only McDonald's can make a burger made out of people, nigga. Bro, listen, man. This nigga talking about somebody barely know how to attack it. Oh, look how large it is. That shit is not even that big. Maybe that's the fat nigga, bro, in me talking. But what I'm saying is that shit is not that exceptional. Like, nigga, everybody got a burger that size. Literally everyone. You know what I'm saying? That shit is not special. He's like, oh, it's so large. Oh, shit. Then he showed the bite that he took. Hold on. Let me see if I could get a freeze frame of that. He's like, that's a big bite for a big arch.
It's distinctively McDonald's. Only McDonald's could do this type of burger, but it also is unlike anything else on our menu. It's a delicious product. You know, you've got sort of the cheeses and the gooiness, but those crispy onions as well gives a nice texture. And of course, we've got the pickles. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my lunch, but Big Arch, try it when you can get it.
Man, that nigga threw up and threw that shit on the floor as soon as that video went off. Talking about he's about to go sit there and finish his lunch, and then he does this like freeze frame, like, okay, tell me when I can put this shit down. Tell me when I can put this shit down, please. Because I didn't feel like eating people today. Man, look, bro. So niggas was telling me that I was talking to my cousin, and he was like, the Burger King CEO or whatever it was, the president or whatever, he did a video too. But I don't think he did this video as a response to this. I think he had done this video and people dug it up afterwards to show the difference in what it's like when a human being is eating food and when a motherfucker is pretending to eat food.
All right, the moment of truth.
That's the one video that's showing the comparison between McDonald's, Wendy's, A&W, and Burger King. And if you look, like, hold on, let me mute this shit. Like, just watch one more time. Look at all of them. Look. Look at that shit. Look at the Wendy's nigga took a bite, bro. The Wendy's dude took a bite, and then he kept taking bites because that shit was really good to him, right? And if you ask me, like, I fuck with quarter pounders. That's like my favorite shit. That's like my go-to when I go to McDonald's, but I probably will never do that again. But I'll talk more about that in a second. Wendy's, to me, they are very underrated when it comes to burgers. I think they are slept on like a motherfucker. And this is possibly the fattest video that I've done to date. But I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I'm with the shit, bro. Burger King is slept on too. It's unfortunate that they are getting their asses whipped by McDonald's, but it's almost as if the tides could potentially turn if all of these other chains do what they're supposed to do with this moment. Because right now, based on the Epstein files, and all of the other things that are going on right now with, you know, the news cycle, people are turning on McDonald's, right? Now, I don't know if it has any significant impact on their stock shares, their share price, or anything like that, because from what I heard, I think McDonald's was up. They were doing pretty good as of late. I don't know. I have not looked. But, you know, Burger King to me is really good as well, especially when you go to a good one. McDonald's, in my own personal opinion, prior to any of this, their quality and it seems like their success has fallen off of a cliff over the since COVID, you know. So I have been watching a lot of their stores, especially in this city where I live, close down sort of like more than I've ever seen it in my life. And it's funny because I had a whole conversation with somebody, I don't remember who, whole conversation about how I have never seen a McDonald's close in my life. Not one time have I ever seen that, right? And then some years have passed. And now, off the top of my head right now, I could think of 3 of them that I used to go to regularly that are gone, and they're still sitting there vacant. There's nobody that bought them and turned them into anything else. They're just gone, and they're vacant. And it's probably because McDonald's still owns the land, and they refuse to sell it because McDonald's is more of a real estate company than they are a restaurant chain. But that's a conversation for another day, right? But if Burger King does what they're supposed to do, and they take advantage of what is happening now, this moment in, you know, pop culture, that could potentially net them some more customers because people are turning on McDonald's left and right. So I'm about to play the video, and I want to show y'all what all the other CEOs said. And they capitalized off this weird ass moment that McDonald's had very well.
All right, the moment of truth.
That's a burger.
That is so good. I love this product. It is so good. I'm going to do a tasting right now.
We love this burger product, which most people call a burger.
Of course, we're starting with our Wendy's Square Patty, fresh, never frozen beef. Absolutely nothing better.
I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know.
I'm going to do a tasting right now, but this is actually my lunch.
Oh, of course, you got to have a Frosty with a burger. Is this set up today? Oh, wait, our machines are always working.
That is so good.
Only one thing missing, a napkin.
Look at how big of a bite he took. That was the Burger King dude. You know, he took a big ass bite of their burger. It almost seemed like the McDonald's dude is scared of his burger because he don't eat that shit. That's why.
As a product, which, yes, he's the CEO, so yeah, it makes sense. But if you're trying to be relatable, and this guy is definitely trying to be relatable, he makes like over $20 million a year or something like that. He has to try to be relatable. So if you are trying to be relatable, maybe you want to call it, I don't know, a burger like the rest of us. Hey, George. Aren't you so glad we traveled to McDonald's to try their new product? I am quite enjoying this new product from McDonald's. How are you enjoying the new product? Hey, James, I am quite enjoying this new product from McDonald's as well. I'm so glad that we came to McDonald's today to try their new product. Nobody talks like that, right? And everyone in the comments basically unanimously is saying, terrible ad. This is horrible. Who approved this ad? I couldn't disagree more. I think this is pure genius. McDonald's knew exactly what they were doing. This is called manipulation, and creators do it every day. They mispronounce words on purpose, so that way you have to run to the comments and say, oh, that's not how you pronounce that word. They use the wrong pictures when referring to places. For example, if they're talking about New York, they might have a picture of Chicago on the screen. Hey, in example 3, when you were talking about New York, that was actually a picture of Chicago. It happens every day. Pure genius on McDonald's part. Hats off to you, McDonald's. Amazing job. So bad that it's good.
Now that is an interesting take that I didn't consider myself. You know, like this is their way of manipulating the viewers to get them to engage with the content, which is exactly what we did. You know, we're talking about it. I'm currently talking about it, and it's been going viral. And I've been seeing Chris K all over the fucking timeline, whether it's being made fun of or YouTube or Instagram has been recommending his other content. You know, I went down his page and he had all kind of shit. So I want to play this other video that I found of him in the headquarters doing a video with one of their like corporate chefs.
One-on-one with Chris K and our famous chef Chad here. So we're gonna make my favorite menu item, a QPC. Actually, we'll make two of them. We'll make one for you and one for me. How's that? Actually, you'll make two.
Absolutely.
All right, good. I can feel the grill is already heated up here. So how long have you been a chef here at McDonald's?
I've been with McDonald's for 8 years, and it's been a lot of fun.
Your favorite project that you've worked on since you've been at McDonald's?
You know what? This one right here. We're actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, this is one
Hot
of my
off the grill?
This is one of my favorites too. But my favorite part about the whole thing is the team I work with.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome. We've been able to do really incredible things.
Yeah, we've got a great team and a great group of suppliers. I know you have a very refined taste on the sauces that we use. So how do you go about the sauce exploration?
Everybody who's had a job, who had to train trainees or who had to do some sort of demonstration or something in front of a boss or a manager understands exactly what this chef is feeling and going through right now. Because he is probably like, this fucking idiot is in my space trying to be personable and trying to act like we're buddies, and this nigga ain't never said shit to me ever. And now we have to both sit here and pretend like this isn't awkward and that we're friends and that we do this all the time and that this nigga is not an asshole. All right, cool.
Discovery process that have come up with some of our great sauces with nuggets and other things like that.
Taste more. We have awesome suppliers, so we work with our suppliers as well, and they help us bring them to life. But I think it's just, you got to taste as many things you can, and you got to have an opinion about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to bring.
So this is my favorite menu item. What is your favorite menu item?
My ultimate go-to is an egg McMuffin with a hash brown on top of it. I like to put the two things together.
Okay, little mashup guy.
That's my breakfast.
All right, now if you could be CEO for a day and you could put anything on the menu globally that we do not carry in the U.S., is there anything out there that you're looking at that you're like, man, I wish we had that in the U.S.?
I live for my kids.
Yeah.
And my daughter was asking, where's the lemonade, right?
Oh,
it's something that is close to her heart, and I want to make her proud, so that would be my answer.
That's your thing, okay.
Yep.
Do you go to, like, take your parents to school day and say, like, hey, I'm the chef at McDonald's? I mean, does that happen?
Yeah, that's a for real thing.
Really?
Yeah, you bet.
So what?
It's a
does
blast.
everybody go crazy when that happens?
You know, at first I didn't know how to talk about it, but now.
Do you ever go to career day and talk about being a McDonald's chef? Like, does it ever happen? And the chef goes, oh, yeah, that's a real thing for sure. What? If you got to say that it's a real thing, oh, yeah, that's certainly a real thing. Bro, that shit is not a real thing, bro. No. Do you ever go like, oh, yeah, do you ever go to a career day and talk about being a chef at McDonald's? Nigga, no, he's never done that. I promise you he's never done that. But he's going to say it for this video because it looks good and it's corny and it's family oriented and, oh, it makes it seem like I'm so proud of McDonald's. He probably fucking hate that job and he's probably severely underpaid. Yeah, who knows? He's a corporate chef, or quote unquote, or whatever you call him. So the nigga might make 70, 80,000, 90,000, 100,000 a year. Who knows? Because according to the description I believe he gave, he's sort of like, they're the front line. You know, they're the ones who make up the shit that McDonald's sells. So they go in the kitchen and they test new products on that grill and shit, I guess. So he could getting paid a lot, but he definitely doesn't seem like he actually gives a fuck though. But maybe, y'all read his body language. Maybe I'm wrong.
Now I go in and just tell them a little bit about what we do, and everybody's got a favorite and everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
And so I just start there and let the kids take me where they need to go.
Do you do all the cooking at home, by the way, too?
Oh, is this going to be like wide? No. My wife and I share those
You
responsibilities.
do? Okay.
Yeah. No.
All right. Well, those look delicious.
Make up some burgers.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to toast up some buns. Do you have any special requests on your QPC? Or
No
you like
special request.
All right.
A classic is the way I like it. Maybe an extra ketchup.
got
But
it.
other than that, we're in good shape here.
Sure.
So how many days a week are you actually here in the kitchen working on the product and coming up with either new menu ideas or new approaches? Just give me a sense of what your day in the life of you is like.
There is no one day in the life, but what I'd say is usually 3 or 4 days. And when we're here, we're tasting a lot of things. We're trying out things, really working for that next launch window and what we're gonna put out.
Yeah.
A lot of conversations with the owner operators, just understand what's happening out there and trying to figure out and do the best we can for our crew. We made a few of these.
You're working your way through
God.
this pretty quickly here.
Oh God.
Awesome team, and we like to make sure.
You
we're
look
making
like
the
you've
right
done
way.
this before.
All right, let's put those burgers
Right.
on.
Oh my God, I can't wait to have this. This looks so good. Thank you for making this.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming to the kitchen.
Do I just need to show up? I mean, is that all I need to do? Like, I just walk past the hall and I can walk in and we can order this?
You got an open invite. Whenever
All
you
right.
want to come by, kitchen's open. Chris.
Good. Cheers. I love it. Thanks. Let's get a good bite of this thing.
I love these things. Juicy,
You can
drippy.
taste the extra ketchup in it.
Yep.
Tell you what, makes all the difference. It's delicious. Love it. So we're going to wrap things up. Chris K, one-on-one with
God.
Chef Chad, quarter pounder. Can it get any better than that?
At least he took a bigger bite there. Boy, was that fucking weird. Oh man. I'm like disgusted. I'm disgusted. Bro. All right. I don't even fucking know what else to give you. I had some other shit from a few people who did like sketches and shit about this, and I'm not really, man, I think I got the point across, bro. This shit is pitiful. Look, I want to say that we as people, we need to reevaluate what it is that we're comfortable supporting as a people, as a country, as a people. Like, these restaurants are killing us. They are killing us. They're putting unnecessary ingredients in these products because that's the best economical choice for them, but it isn't the best health conscious choice for us. But they don't give a fuck because their fiduciary responsibility dictates that they chase a dollar before they chase righteousness, or they chase a dollar before they give a fuck about you and me. You know, they do all sorts of underhanded criminal shit. All of these items that they use on these burgers are made of things that are not for human consumption. And I'm saying that taking full accountability for the choices that I've made dietarily. I've sat and eaten my fair share of McDonald's plenty of days, and I'm done. You know, I said earlier that, you know, I wanted to talk about something else. I am currently on a journey of changing my life. I want to be a different man come this time next year. I have cut out most of the eat. Like, when I say most, I mean 90% of the things that I eat on a daily basis. You know, I don't necessarily want to, oh, fuck it, let's do it. A typical day for me, if I'm not getting carry out, if I'm eating at home, I'm eating bullshit, you know, on a typical day. I go to the grocery store. I like easy, cheap shit because I do not like to cook. And, you know, I also have limited amount of time, especially when I was working a 9-to-5 just recently, but I'm no longer doing that. So now I have time to actually focus and do something that is a little more beneficial to me and my children. But I would go to the grocery store, I would get a bag of Tyson's chicken, whether it be strips or nuggets or whatever the case is, right? And I would get 3, 4, 5 bags of those, and them bitches are $15 a pop, $10, $12 a pop, depending on where you go, and they're not worth it. They're not very big bags. They're probably 20 ounces, 22 ounces, depending on what type of product you get, right? And I get that shit. I sort of rely on the convenience, and that's the choice that I've made for years and years and years. And I've been doing that since I was a teenager. I remember my mother sort of introduced that to the home when I was, young. I was probably 15, 14, 16. And, my mother used to cook her ass off too. But when, my mother also worked a full-time job Monday through Friday all day, as well as being a full-time mother. So she would cook, clean, and wash clothes and take care of us and pick us up from school and all that, and then still have to go home and cook, right? So sometimes she just didn't feel like that shit, and that is the culprit of all of these things. We don't feel like it. We don't have the time for it. So we do things like, we get convenience meals, whether it be Banquet or any old thing that you could throw in the freezer and then throw in the oven or microwave or whatever the case. I used to be a microwave king. I remember the specific story of me turning 18, right, and getting my first job. And I was still living with my mom, and on the way to my job or the way from my job, I passed a grocery store that we have here in the Midwest called Meijer. And I would go in there, and the only thing that I would ever go to, I'm not going to the produce. I'm 18. I'm young. At this time, I was even still pretty skinny. I feel like I'm going to live forever, all that type of shit. I don't know anything about health. I don't know what sodium actually is. I don't know cholesterol. I don't know how much fat you're supposed to intake. I don't know calories. I don't know any of these things. I don't know vitamins. I don't know what we're supposed to be eating, but I know what I want to eat, right? I used to get Hot Pockets. I remember one time I went and only got Hot Pockets. I mean, boxes and boxes of them. So much so that I remember being disgusted by Hot Pockets. To this day, I still don't eat Hot Pockets because I ate so many of them that I was like, I'm so fucking tired of Hot Pockets. And then when the way my brain works, it's like when I eat something over and over again, I start to sort of like analyze it very closely about what it is I'm actually eating, and I get very disgusted. And like I said, that was 20 years ago. I do not fuck with Hot Pockets to this day. I probably had Hot Pockets once or twice since then, and that's 2 decades ago. Listen, man, I used to get, I don't know, it's a lot of things. I used to get like Tombstone pizzas, or DiGiorno's. Is a lot of bullshit I used to get. And if it's not that, I'm getting dogs and some canned bullshit, which is all filled with sodium. All of it is filled with sodium. All of it. Because it has to be preserved. And you preserve things with salt. And you preserve things with chemicals. Right? So it gives it a longer shelf life. Even to this day, I kind of developed my eating practices on that time and, of course, my upbringing. And when I left my mom's house, that's when it really got bad because I wasn't under my mother's roof anymore and she wasn't cooking anymore. My dad would even cook for me sometimes when I was living with them too. But, of course, my mother was the one that was really doing the cooking. When I left and I got my first apartment, it got way worse. I remember me and my ex at the time, the one that I was with when I first moved, we used to cook together. So sometimes we go to the grocery store, we get some chicken breast, or we get ground beef, or we get whatever, and it would be food that we stood in the kitchen and cooked together when I first moved. That was like a thing that we did to share time together. And more on convenience. I'm not about to stand here in this kitchen and bread, this fucking dipping this chicken breast in this egg wash and milk and flour and seasoning. I'm not doing this shit every day, bro. And then I was working 2 jobs at the time, so I was literally working, 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day sometimes, depending on the workload at any particular job. And that just continued for decades. I got other relationships, and when I get in relationships, that's something that I sort of require from my partners is for you to cook. I don't require it. I do really strongly prefer it, but I'm saying I don't require it in the sense that I'm like making her do it. But it's something that I lean towards. I choose my partners based on that. Can you cook? Are you willing to cook? So those relationships sort of saved me from the bullshit. But even then, due to my ignorance, we go to the grocery store. She's buying real food, my girlfriend's, but I'm still buying my little bullshit because I just want to have it in the house so she doesn't have to cook every time I want to eat. So I'll throw some bullshit in the microwave or the oven and I'll eat it. Now, I'm giving you this history to show you how I've gotten to this point. I sit here before you today, nearly 400 pounds. I'm a big guy. I'm stocky. Just imagine, like, I'm not standing up now, but just imagine, for those of you who don't know me, I'm more so built like a fucking linebacker than I am just a fat slob. I'm saying, but I don't give a fuck how you frame it. I'm too large. I weigh too much, and it's not for any other reason other than my eating habits and my sedentary lifestyle due to this job that I do. I'm an engineer. I sit in place for a living. This is not a physically demanding job. It's a mental and creative job. But you compound that with bad eating habits. I eat things full of sodium and preservatives. I eat things that are cooked in seed oils. I eat things that are multiple times over my daily recommended intake for sodium and fat and cholesterol or whatever the fuck, all of these things that I shouldn't be eating. Sugar. These are the things that kill you. Now, these are things that these are my habits that I've maintained for decades. You know what takes damage? Your liver and your kidney. Your gut health, your brain takes damage. Your heart takes damage. I think one of my saving graces in my life, the fact that I do not drink and smoke. I do it socially and I do it very occasionally, very rarely. I don't remember the last drink that I had. Yes, I do. That's a lie. I just had some of this. This is wine. One of my clients came to the studio just 7 days ago, and he was like, "You want a little bit of this?" I was like, "Sure." And he gave me a little cup, and I probably had filled the cup twice and drank it. It wasn't enough to give me a buzz or nothing. It's wine, but I rarely ever drink. The last time before that I drank was probably my birthday, which was 5 months ago. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't even a lot. I didn't get drunk. I might have got a little tipsy, a little buzz, not tipsy, but a little buzz, took the edge off a little bit. I went to the casino. That's it. I don't drink. So that, I got that going for me. I don't smoke at all for the most part. I do that socially, but man, I smoke once a year, twice a year, if that. And then when I do that, it's still very short-lived, and it's not a lot. I don't smoke cigarettes, sure. I'm not around anyone that smokes cigarettes. I drink a lot of water, and there have been year stretches where I didn't drink any pop, any soda. For those of you outside the Midwest, I don't drink any of that shit. For years at a time. Recently I have been, but there's like long stretches of time where I don't drink sugary drinks unless it's fruit juice and shit, but that's bad for you too in large doses. Me, I go get a Simply Lemonade or something like that. I'm drinking the whole thing in one sitting with one meal. Sometimes I come home with 2 or 3 of them bitches, right? Now, I want to get to this point. This is a little personal, but I'm saying all of this thing for anyone. I'm being honest. You know, this is what I do. I don't get on this bitch and be lying. I don't get on this bitch and be trying to fabricate some story to make me look good. That's not the point of this, and I'm not that type of nigga, bro. Recently, I went to the doctor. Shit ain't have nothing to do with nothing else. I actually went to the doctor for my finger. I hurt my finger at work. You know, a very minor injury, but I was going just to figure out what the fuck was going on because it was swollen for like 4 months and it wouldn't go down. I had pricked it on a vine or something that had poison on the tip of the vine, forget what you call it, thorn or whatever. And my finger is still kind of swollen now, but I believe it'll go away because it's gotten much better since I went to the doctor. Anyway, for that, but she was like, I'm going to run your blood anyway just to see if you're all right. Ran my blood, and then she was like, I don't want to see you in a few weeks. Come back. I came back. She like, all right, this your blood pressure. This was your blood pressure last time. They're both high. They're elevated. You're hypertensive. She looked at my A1C and was like, this shit is too high. And you're essentially, just to get to the summary of that meeting, she essentially was like, bro, you are towing the line and dancing on the edge with stroke, heart attack, diabetes, blah, blah, blah. It's not a surprise. I'm a big guy. It's nothing that's surprising me that she's saying, but it's the way that she's talking to me this particular day. And she's talking to me with love. It wasn't scolding. My doctor's a woman, a black woman. And she's like, look, this is what she said. This is what tripped me out. She got through to me this day for whatever reason. She said, the way that you eat is going to stop. Now, you can choose whether or not it's by choice or if it's because you lose your faculties and you can't eat this way anymore. Because people get strokes and they eat through tubes. People get strokes and they die. People have heart attacks. People get diabetes and they lose limbs. So the choice is yours. She was like, so what do you want to do? I'm like, man, I don't know. It's my living circumstances, my financial circumstances. There's a lot of factors that are working against me that sort of stop me from being able to live exactly the way that I want. And what I told her is, I need a wife. She said, well, you know, basically, we were talking like, I was like, but I don't have that. But I was like, I really just need somebody to tell me what to do because I don't really like to think about that kind of stuff. I don't really know anything about it. I'm ignorant. So she pulled out a sticky pad, her doctor pad, and she started drawing basically like a food pyramid, but it was in the shape of a circle. But she started writing things from starches to proteins to whatever, like you need to be drinking this much water a day based on your BMI. You need to be eating these type of proteins. You need to avoid seed oils. And as an alternative, you need to be using avocado oil or something like that. And you need to be avoiding carrots and corn because those spike your blood sugar. You know, she said these vegetables are good. Chicken breast, not fried. And eat fish or whatever it is that you like, but you need to eat this way. You need to cut out breads. And if you do eat bread, make sure it's a whole grain, 12 grain bread or some shit. And she gave me a fully fleshed out play. And I was like, I'm not going to lie to you. The way that we talked that day, the way that she spoke to me, it was like she loved me. And the shit almost got a tear out of me because I didn't expect that, especially because this is just my doctor. I don't know this lady outside of the several times that I've visited her. She's only been my primary care for 5 years, but she talked to me like she loved me. She could have got me out of there and said, look, I'm going to write you a prescription for some more shit for blood pressure. Figure it out. And I got to go see another client. No. She sat in that room with me for almost an hour, like 45 minutes, talking to me. We had done all the tests. She took my blood pressure. It wasn't nothing else to do. We were just talking. I never had that from a doctor before. Especially when it was a white man doctor who was old as hell and didn't give a fuck. All this nigga, the nigga walk in. I used to have a doctor. Nigga walk. He didn't even make eye contact with me. He looking down at his pad or whatever, his little chart, talking to me without looking at me. We have no relationship, and he just reading numbers, telling me whatever I need to know, and he leave and be like, all right, talk to my nurse. I'll see you next time. And he out. Not this time. My doctor talked to me like she gives a fuck. And that day, I went home and essentially threw away all that bullshit. And I bought all new food. It's like I changed my wardrobe. I emptied shop and I replenished with a whole bunch of new shit. I never ate this much broccoli. I've probably eaten more broccoli in the last 3 weeks than I've eaten in my whole fucking life. My whole 35, 7 years of living. This 3 weeks, I eat broccoli every day. Every day I eat broccoli and asparagus. Still a little bit of carrots, but I keep that to a minimum. I eat a little bit of potatoes, but I keep that to a minimum because it's starch. Sugar. You know, I have not had nothing sweet to drink. Not nothing. I have not had no juice. I don't think. I have not had no pop for sure. In 3 weeks, going on 4 weeks. No pop, no juice at all. Only water, vegetables, baked chicken, baked fish. I season it. You know, I've had like peanut butter and jellies. I tried that 12-grain bread shit. That shit was awful. The bread that I had specifically, it was terrible. So I'm going to look and try to find me a bakery. This is a long episode, but I think it's worth it. For anybody that can connect with this sort of content, you know, please listen to me, bro. The thing that drove all of this home is that literally weeks before, 2-3 weeks before this, sit down with my doctor, my older had a stroke. Someone that I've known as long as I've been alive. She's older than me, but she's always in my life. I love her to death. She had a stroke. I don't necessarily want to tell the particulars of that incident or get too in depth about what happened, but it happened. And it scared the shit out of me because I thought I had lost her. I did. I didn't allow myself to start crying because I had faith, and my faith was warranted once I got there to see her at the hospital. But she did have a stroke. And I'm not going to say that God used that to sort of warn me and the other people around her, but it was something that kind of put my antennas up. And I started thinking the day that it happened. And then just so happened I went to see my doctor. And then she said what she said. And while she was talking, I cut her off and I said, my cousin just had a stroke the other day. And she said, see? She said, if you don't want that to be you, then you need to change what you're doing. I'm not going back to McDonald's as far as I can help it. And I certainly don't want that for my kids. And one thing that I was feeling really guilty about for the last several years with my children was that they were eating a lot of the same shit that I was eating too. Tyson's chicken. You know, they were eating frozen French fries that we just throw in the air fryer. It's shit good. It's really good. You know, but I was like, what am I going to do? I don't have the time to really cook. I don't even have the money to really cook like I want to. You know, I still don't. But when I spoke to my doctor, she kind of opened my mind up to finding alternatives that are still within my budget, you know, that would be just filling, but way healthier. So now, bro, I'm feeding my kids vegetables every single day, all day. And if it ain't a vegetable, it's an apple or some strawberries or some pineapple or mangoes or something like that, and it's not fried food anymore. And I was really worried about that. Like, what am I doing to my kids? Before my children were born, I had a plan for the way that I would feed them, teach them, rear them, and prepare them for this thing we call life. And to be honest, I lost sight of that shit many times over. And it's really mostly just due to lack of resources. And this is the story of all of the world. We all got grandiose ideas, but without the resources to execute, we cannot execute them. But the way, just not having the resources that I want and need to take care of my children in the proper way was breaking my heart every single day. I felt guilty I literally, like, bro, I swear to God, I'm not making this shit up, bro. I would sit, like my kids would be sitting here eating, and I would be looking over at them, and I'm eating too, and I would just be like, fuck. And I'll just be shaking my head like, this shit it don't feel right. It just don't feel right. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm never going to eat fast food again, because there are some restaurants that I do trust. I'm not going to eat a lot of it. We all got to die. So I still have that philosophy. We're all going to die, so we should enjoy this shit a little bit, right? So there, like if I go to Chick-fil-A, the alternative would be I could get the grilled nuggets or whatever the case. I don't know. But there's still a mindset that was taught to me through my doctor, that you need to also pay attention to your portions. Yes, you can eat bullshit, but sometimes just chill, relax. You don't got to eat 5 burgers or 3 burgers or 2 burgers. Just eat one of them shits and chill. You know what I'm saying? But that's not, it's gluttony. It's excess. It's greed. It's food being addictive as hell. It's a drug. It's the same mentality that a crackhead got. Like, this one last hit, then a nigga OD. The equivalent is a stroke, a heart attack. One last hit. Bro, you can go to a restaurant and get one thing, and make little stupid ass decisions like don't get salt on your fries or something like that. The shit is corny, but it'll save your life for real, because that reduces the amount of sodium you're taking in, which reduces the damage you're doing to your kidneys, which in turn reduces the damage you're doing to your heart and the rest of your body. I'm not saying I'm done eating fast food. I probably am done with McDonald's though. But I am done being the person that I was. I'm 3 weeks in, that ain't nothing but 21 days. I'm probably about 22, 23 days in, something like that. And I'm already seeing the changes in the way that I feel, the way that I sleep a little bit, and the way that I look a little bit. It's very minor, but I could see it in my own face. And I'm excited about what this could potentially do to transform my life in so many ways, whether it be socially, whether it be my love life, whether it be the type of women that I can attract if I drop this shit off of my body, whether it be the way that people perceive me and respect me, because looks do matter. I don't give a fuck what you say. But most importantly, the way that my body will feel and the way that I will respect and perceive myself. It ain't easy looking in the mirror, if I'm being honest. I've never even said none of this shit out loud before. Never. I never said none of this shit out loud before. It's not easy looking in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm handsome. I always thought that. But You know, as we all do, you look in the mirror and you see things that you can improve on. You know there's things you can improve on because you have to be yourself every day. You know what you're doing. And that's something that beats me over the head every single day, bro. My health, my body. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm out, man. Hit all the buttons for me, man. Holla at me.